The transfer of Joao Cancelo from Manchester City to Bayern Munich. The 2023 January transfer window was the biggest in history. Chelsea made headlines with a record spend of £323 million, where they brought in 8 new signings. This included the Argentine Enzo Fernandez, who made the move from Lisbon for a wallet-busting British transfer record fee of £106.8 million. But arguably, this was not the story of the window. Joao Cancelo moved from Manchester City to Bayern Munich on deadline day in a move that shocked the footballing world. Very few saw this coming, especially as he's arguably the most technically gifted right-back in the league. So, what really happened? We'll be giving you the inside scoop on what the reported rift between Joao Cancelo and Guardiola entailed, the moments that led up to this move, and what lies ahead for the Portuguese full-back. But before we get into it, be sure to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell for more football-related content. The 2021-22 season was a relatively successful season for City, in which they won the Premier League by a single point over rivals Liverpool and reached the semi-finals of the FA Cup and UEFA Champions League, respectively. There were many standout performers, as is usual with a Manchester City side coached by Pep Guardiola. However, there was one player in particular who enjoyed a stellar season. Joao Cancelo, the Portuguese right-back, or left-back at times, who was brought to the club from Juventus for a fee of €30 million. A bargain when you consider that Danilo, who had long been a problem in that position for City, went the other way to Juve. More interestingly is that he has been deployed by Pep as an inverted wing-back. For those unfamiliar with the position, the inverted wing-back operates like a normal wing-back, or full-back, when in a defensive position, by dropping into the backline, however. When in an offensive position, the inverted wing-back will look to drift inside to the center of the pitch, dragging opposition players out of position and making space for teammates around them. If there's no teammate ahead of him on his side of the pitch, then an inverted wing-back will support attacks in a more traditional manner. This role is extremely specialized and requires the player to possess some key attributes. These include exceptional technical ability on the ball, like a good first touch and passing range, a strong mentality to stay calm and composed in congested areas, and be intelligent enough to know when to move centrally or when to stay wide, and to possess the physical fitness to turn up in various areas of the pitch, and have the recovery pace to return to a defensive formation. Such a tactical exploit has been key to Pep Guardiola's successes during his time at Manchester City, and players like Joao Cancelo have reaped the benefits. In the last 2 seasons, the Portuguese has been named in the PFA Premier League Team of the Year lineups. In the Premier League in particular last season, he enjoyed 3 goals and 10 assists in 36 games, which was the best goal-contributing form he has had in his career. It seemed that all was going well for Cancelo and Pep at Manchester City. So where did it all turn sour? Despite Joao Cancelo's performances last season, the wing-back has been dropped several times, which has resulted in reduced game time this season. It has been reported by several outlets, including The Athletic and the Daily Mail, that Cancelo has a volcanic personality and tends to become enraged when he is benched or when things aren't going his way. A source close to the club has said that when he's in a good mood, he's excellent. When he's in a bad mood, he's a bad boy. He thinks he is the best and doesn't accept any advice or correction. This isn't exactly hard to believe, as Cancelo reportedly blocked several Manchester City fan accounts on social media when he was on the verge of forcing his way out of the club in 2019 due to a lack of game time. For a coach of Pep's quality, who is used to managing big personalities like Messi, Ibrahimovic, and Samuel Eto'o, the Spanish manager was never going to stand for such behavior. He has been previously quoted as having strong views on players with poor body language, saying in January 2023 that, "Every time it is difficult to choose the team for me, always top players are not playing. Lately, as I get older, I mainly look at the body language, in the training sessions and everything. You cannot play good when the body language is not correct." Some have taken this as an indirect response to Joao Cancelo's behind-the-scenes actions. The player is reported to have expressed his dissatisfaction previously when he was left out of the starting 11 for the Champions League semi-final second leg and final against Chelsea in the 2020-21 season. Those close to him know how much he dislikes being benched, with Cancelo having returned from the World Cup in a funk due to not playing as much as he wanted. Unfortunately, things did not change when he got back to City, as Cancelo was played out of position on the right wing during City's 1-0 win at Chelsea earlier in January and was taken off at half-time, which left him furious. And from here, it all went downhill. Cancelo was additionally not selected in City's starting lineup for their 4-2 win over Spurs and was replaced by the youngster Rico Lewis, which was said to have caused much consternation. Last month, Sportsmail exclusively reported that Cancelo had a heated argument with Guardiola at the training ground after finding out he would not start City's FA Cup match against Arsenal. Following his omission from the FA Cup win, the coaching staff observed that he was not paying attention during tactical meetings at the training ground, and the decision was made to let him go as his poor behavior was rubbing off on other players. Cancelo subsequently made his loan switch from Manchester City to Bayern on deadline day, with the German Giants having the option to sign him for £61.5 million at the end of the season. He's currently under contract at the Etihad until 2027 and will join a Bayern side who have drawn their last 3 games, which has allowed Union Berlin to reduce the gap to them at the top to just a single point. In the following press conference, Pep Guardiola was quick to diffuse any reports that there was a rift between himself and Cancelo. In an excerpt, the Spanish manager said, "First, I wish him the very best in his 4 months. Next season, I don't know what happens. He is an incredible figure in the last 2 leagues we won. After the World Cup, we make a preseason and decided to play. In some patterns different. I like what I watch. I give more time to other players. His personality, mine, he loves to play. He trains the best. The situation, he doesn't play much. In the last years, one of the players with more minutes. He needs to play to be happy. We decide to let him go to Munich. He wants to play every single game, and hopefully he can in Munich." Interestingly enough, Joao Cancelo expressed a similar sentiment during an interview with Mundo Deportivo, where he set the record straight about his reported bust-up with Pep Guardiola. "It's a lie that I had a fight with Guardiola. A complete lie. I didn't feel important to the team in recent games. I spoke to the coach, and he agreed to let me leave on loan. I, the coach, and the club decided that I had to leave, that it was the best option for me. I like new opportunities, and I have nothing against City." Perhaps Cancelo was just covering his back, knowing that there was a chance that he will need to return to his parent club in the summer, or maybe there is some genuine truth in what he said. It really did just come down to game time. Whatever it is, only time will tell whether he still has a future at Manchester City. But for now, he is wearing red and putting in performances for Bayern Munich. The 28-year-old wingback was handed his first start for Bayern Munich against Mainz in their DFB Pokal clash by coach Julian Nagelsmann. The Bundesliga champions went 1-0 up in the first half as the Portuguese assisted Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting. Despite having only one training session with the team, his teammates knew what to expect from Cancelo, as he picked up the ball on the right side of the field and made a superb cross to the back post for the Cameroonian international to volley in a left-footed finish. It was as though his marker Aaron Caracol wasn't even there as he toyed and dribbled with the defender moments before putting the ball in the box. This was reminiscent of the kind of play that City fans had enjoyed seeing since Cancelo joined the club from Juventus in 2019. Choupo-Moting expressed his gratitude to Cancelo, and Bayern went on to win the match 4-0 after going 3-0 up by the end of the first half. And if you were wondering, the struggling Caracol was subbed off at the start of the second half. It seems as though this loan transfer has worked out well for both parties. Guardiola is able to get rid of a disruptive presence in the dressing room, and Cancelo gets more game time. The buyout clause is also an interesting indicator as to where Cancelo's future lies. Do you believe Cancelo's career at Manchester City is over, or can he still walk the road to redemption? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.